If you don't remove your filthy hands from this air conditioner, I will use a blow to remove your teeth.
You are very mad. Try it and see if I will not skin you alive.
Separate them! Separate them! Separate them! I saw what you did, don't lie.
Stop you. Get that finger out of my face.
Both of you need to calm down right now.
The hot afternoon sun burned heavily over the quiet estate. But in seconds, that quiet turned into chaos. Two grown men locked in a violent struggle in front of a building, pushing, shouting, ready to destroy each other. Neighbors rushed out in panic. "Separate them! Separate them!" Voices screamed from every corner. It took several people to finally drag them apart. Both men stood there, breathing hard, their eyes filled with anger, their fists still clenched. But this was no ordinary fight. This was just the beginning. Moments later, things got worse. One of the men, clearly furious, stormed straight to the police station. His accusation? Fraud. What you're about to watch is not just a fight. It's a real-life story of how a simple business transaction turned into chaos, a violent confrontation, a police case, and a hidden scam that almost cost innocent people millions of naira. 3 strangers, 1 mistake, and a mastermind working behind the scenes. But the biggest question is, who was really telling the truth? And how did everything go so wrong? Stay with me till the end to find out how this shocking story unfolds. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories like this, because the next one might just save you from becoming a victim. Moments later, things got worse. One of the men, clearly furious, stormed straight to the police station. His accusation? Fraud. Within a short time, both the buyer and the delivery man were seated inside a quiet interrogation room. The air was tense. The officer leaned forward slowly and said, "All right, one after the other. Tell me exactly what happened." The delivery man adjusted himself and spoke calmly. "Officer, the address this man gave me was House 91. He paused. But when I got close, he suddenly called me and said it was House 58. The officer frowned. "I even asked people around," he continued, "and they told me clearly, houses here don't even go up to 91. The room went silent. Then he added, "This man ordered goods from Alaba International Market in Oho. When I arrived, he checked everything. Everything was fine. But he never asked me for any account details." The officer leaned in. "So how was payment supposed to be made?" The delivery man shook his head. "That's the problem, sir. I called my boss, the vendor, Mr. Victor. And he said he never received any money." A pause. Then he dropped the bomb. Before I could even show him the correct account, he had already sent 6.5 million naira to a completely different account. The officer's expression changed instantly. "And the total transaction?" he asked. The delivery man swallowed. 11.2 million naira, sir." Now all eyes turned to the buyer. He looked confused, but defensive. "I ordered the goods normally," he began, "from a vendor at Alaba. When they arrived, I checked everything carefully." He sighed. "I asked for the account number, but I was told it had already been sent to the contact handling delivery." The officer raised an eyebrow. "So you didn't confirm directly with the vendor?" The buyer hesitated. "My brother, James, he was the one handling the deal," he said. "He wasn't around. So after confirming the goods, he sent the money." Silence filled the room again. Heavy silence. At that moment, something felt wrong. Very wrong. The officer leaned back slowly. 3 people, 3 different stories. One missing link. Somewhere between the vendor, the delivery man, and the buyer. Something had been manipulated. And because of that one mistake, a fight broke out. A man was accused falsely, millions were at risk, and strangers became enemies. The officer finally spoke, his voice firm. Listen carefully. In any business transaction, never send money without confirming directly from the original vendor. Delivery does not guarantee payment instructions. Always verify before you transfer. The room stayed quiet, because now it was clear. This was not just confusion. This was a setup. Oh, just when they thought it couldn't get worse, it did. The officer looked at both men and said, "This case is not clear yet. All of you will return on Monday for full investigation." Then he added, "For now, the goods will be seized." The buyer's face dropped instantly. The delivery man looked stressed, confused. What started as a simple delivery had now become a police case. That same evening, the officer picked up his phone and called the vendor. "Mr. Victor." At first, Victor sounded calm, but as he listened, everything changed. Silence. Then slowly, he spoke. "Officer, I think I know what is happening." The officer straightened immediately. Victor continued. "The person who placed this order, something felt wrong from the beginning. He was rushing, changing details, avoiding proper confirmation." A pause. Then the truth started to unfold. "I never received any payment." Another pause. Then the final statement. "Officer, I believe we are dealing with a scammer." Suddenly, everything connected. A hidden third party, controlling communication, manipulating both sides, turning innocent people against each other. The officer stood up immediately. "This is now a fraud case." The file was opened. The goods remained in custody, and the investigation had just begun. As everyone left the station that evening, confusion still filled the air. The buyer whispered to himself, "How did this even happen?" The delivery man shook his head slowly. "I was just doing my job." And somewhere, far away, someone was watching. The real mastermind, the one who started it all. But what he didn't know was his trap was already beginning to fail. The same scammer who just caused a 6.5 million naira loss called again the very next day. Saturday morning came quietly, but the case from Friday was still fresh. Confusion, anger, suspicion, and then Victor's phone rang, unknown number. He stared at the screen for a few seconds. Something didn't feel right. Slowly, he picked up. "Hello, sir. I want to buy fridge and generator urgently." Victor froze. That voice, even though it was slightly changed, he recognized it immediately. Inside his mind, he said quietly, "So, you still have the confidence to call me again." But on the outside, he stayed calm, professional. "All right, sir, no problem. I can help you." This time, Victor made a decision. He wouldn't argue. He wouldn't expose him. He would trap him. They continued chatting on WhatsApp like normal customers. Prices were discussed. DD items were selected. Then Victor said, "Sir, let me do a video call so you can see the items clearly." There was a brief pause. The scammer hesitated, but then, "Okay." The video call connected. Victor adjusted his phone carefully. His face was calm, but his mind was sharp. He didn't rush. He didn't accuse. He simply allowed the man to talk, to move, to show himself, all while recording everything: his face, his voice, his mannerisms. The scammer felt safe. He believed he was in control. He had no idea. He was exposing himself. After a few minutes of negotiation, Victor moved to the next step. "All right, sir. I'll need a small delivery fee before dispatch." A short silence. Then the scammer replied confidently, "No problem. Send the account." Victor sent the details. Seconds later, 20,000 naira received. Victor looked at the alert. His eyes narrowed slowly. Same pattern, same system, same bank trail. This was no coincidence anymore. At that moment, everything became clear. This wasn't just one scam. This was organized fraud. The scammer believed he had just placed another order. But what he didn't know was his face had been recorded. His voice had been captured. His account was now linked, and Victor had just gathered real evidence. Victor leaned back and whispered, "Now, I have you." Immediately, Victor began saving everything. The video recording, chat history, bank alert, account details, nothing was missed. This was no longer a guess. This was proof. Without wasting time, Victor made another move. He called the buyer's brother. "Please, you send me your brother's number." Moments later, the number came in. Victor dialed. Hello. This is James." Victor spoke calmly. "My name is Victor, the vendor from Alaba." A pause. Then, "I believe we have both been dealing with the same person." Silence. Then James responded, "I've been trying to understand everything. Please explain." Victor explained everything step by step. The fake order, the missing payment, the confusion, the fight. Then he dropped the bomb. "He contacted me again today." James was shocked. Again? Victor didn't stop. He began sending evidence one by one. Video recording, voice clips, chat screenshots, bank details. James opened them slowly. Then suddenly, he went quiet. Very quiet. After a few seconds, James spoke. "This is him." Victor leaned forward. "You're sure?" James replied firmly. "Yes. The same voice, the same face." And everything connected. No more confusion, no more doubt. Victor didn't stop there. He sent the voice recording to the delivery man. Same response. "It's him." Now 3 people, who were almost fighting each other before, were finally seeing the truth. They were not enemies, they were victims. Victor picked up his phone again and called the scammer. This time, his voice was calm, controlled. "Hello, I've received your payment." The scammer replied quickly. "Okay, sir. When will you send my goods?" Victor said, "It's weekend. Logistics won't move now." Then he added, "We will deliver everything on Monday morning." The scammer agreed instantly, excited, unaware. But as Victor ended the call, his expression changed. He looked at his phone and said quietly, "Monday, we will meet at the police station." That night, Victor organized everything. Every file, every proof, every detail. James did the same. 2 strangers, now working together. Not against each other, but against the real enemy. Monday morning was coming, and this time, the police wouldn't just hear stories, they would see the face behind the crime. What was supposed to be a simple business transaction, a normal day, a normal deal, had now turned into a full-blown crisis. No one saw it coming. No warning, no sign, just one mistake, and everything spiraled. At the police station, 3 men stood facing each other. The seller, tired, frustrated, but standing firm. The buyer's representative, restless, defensive, shifting his weight like a man under pressure. And the delivery man, and somewhere far away, the real buyer, claiming innocence from a distance. The air was thick, heavy with tension, suspicion, and silent anger. Then the police officer leaned forward, looked at both of them, and said words that shook the room. "Both of you were scammed." For a second, no one spoke, no one moved, but the seller slowly shook his head. His voice was calm, but heavy with truth. "No, I was not scammed. I did not receive any money." Silence. The kind of silence that makes your chest tight, because deep down, everyone knew. That statement carried weight. Hours passed, arguments, raised voices, accusations flying back and forth like bullets. "You received the money." "I never did. I have proof." "Then show it." The room grew hotter. Frustration turned into exhaustion. And then, the seller made a decision. Not because he was wrong, not because he was weak, but because he was tired. Tired of the chaos, tired of the noise, tired of being trapped in a problem he didn't create. He took a deep breath, looked at both of them, and spoke slowly. Let's divide the loss into 3 parts. They all looked at him. I will take 1 part, you take 2 part, then I balance you, and go with my goods. It was a sacrifice, a painful one. You could see it in his eyes. This was not justice. This was survival. For a moment, it felt like peace was finally within reach. Like maybe, just maybe, this nightmare would end. But then, the buyer's representative shook his head. Firm, cold. No, it has to be half. He called his brother James, who was the buyer. James still say the same thing and stand on it. The room froze again. We split it into 2. Half? The seller stared at him, disbelief written all over his face, because in his mind, he had already lost everything. His goods were gone. His money was nowhere. His trust completely shattered. And now, he was being asked to lose even more. The atmosphere changed. Voices dropped. No more shouting. Just quiet, dangerous tension. No agreement, no compromise. Just 2 men, both claiming loss. But only one had delivered goods. The police stepped in again. And then came the words no one wanted to hear. The goods will remain here until investigation is completed. No timeline, no promise, just waiting. Days passed, slow, painful, frustrating days. The buyer still stand his ground because the case was now in his favor. Nothing moved, nothing changed. The case was stuck. The buyer held on to his story. I paid. The seller didn't budge, not to me. Then today came. But this time, something was different. The seller did not walk in alone. He came with his lawyer, and instantly, everything changed. The same police station, but now the air felt different, sharper, more serious. This was no longer just talk. This was now legal. After listening carefully again, the police gave a new order, a direct one, clear, firm, final. To the real buyer. You have 1 week, come to Lagos, and provide evidence of how you ordered these goods and how you paid the seller. 1 week, just 1, to prove everything, because now, words were no longer enough. This was about proof, real proof. Then came another twist. The lawyer stepped forward, calm, confident, and said, if necessary, we will take this matter to court. That moment, everything shifted, completely. This was no longer a misunderstanding. This had become a battle, a legal one. 2 men, 2 stories. One says, I paid. The other says, I was never paid. And somewhere in between, a mistake, a transfer, an assumption, a decision that changed everything. Now, time is ticking. 1 week, 1 chance to reveal the truth. In business, it only takes 1 mistake, 1 wrong transfer, 1 unverified account, 1 moment of trust, and everything can collapse. Lives collide, peace disappears, and lessons come the hard way. So tell me, if you were in this situation, would you share the loss, or would you stand your ground, no matter what? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. For more real-life stories that don't just entertain, but teach, because sometimes the hardest experiences carry the most powerful lessons. But this story is not over yet, because the 1 week is still counting. And the truth? Victor has not delivered goods, has not been revealed. Will the buyer show up with proof? Or will everything fall apart in court? For now, we wait. Part 2 is coming. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Follow, like, and stay tuned, because the next part, it changes everything.